What's going on with your boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? You know who it is. It's your boy, John Mike from down here at Dynamics Music. And of course, I'm fooling around again with Mainstage, my second favorite program next to Logic Pro X. This has become the most utilized program that I have, second most utilized program that I have on my computer, on my MacBook rather. So I had a question come in dealing with the MKSensation plugin made by the good folks over at Gospel Musicians. It's a wonderful plugin, very comprehensive plugin that runs on the Kontakt 5 player. And it's relatively inexpensive. I think it's running somewhere between 129, 149, somewhere around in there. Um, Very, 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 very competitively priced plugin that is basically a model of the or a sampled model um, of the Roland MKS 20 module, and it's been sampled pretty much um, to perfection. That's just in my opinion. Based on my experience with it, I pretty much love this plugin. But anyway, it's not about this plugin. The question that came in was, how can I map my controller inside Mainstage to work with this plugin to be able to arm and change sounds and switch and arm and turn things on and off and basically switch and change up my layers, because that's the main thing, the main benefit of having this plugin. Instead of having several patches where you have layered different sound strings and stuff like that, this plugin has everything pretty much built in it, from brass to synth to strings pad, piano, EP, as you can see here, just tons of plug, of sounds built into one plugin. So it's very beautiful sounding, very amazing sounding plugin. It is my go-to. I pretty much use this for, because I play for my church, so I pretty much use this for the breadth of my service, the most of my service. The only other thing I use is an organ patch, and that's for like backing up the preacher. But pretty much everything else that I do in service is done on this plugin. So the question was, like I said, how to map this controller to use inside of main stage and make it beneficial. With just, assigning a few buttons or what have you. So I have it mapped on my controller to where, and you can't see my controller, but I'm gonna be pressing some buttons on here. I have the MK1 controller machine by Native Instruments. So as I hit pads here on my controller, it arms or turns on and off different sounds. So for instance, two sounds I have armed now. Let me arm some strings here in this pad, and you have this. And then I could turn off the TX, for instance, and I could just go with a piano one and maybe an EP2, something like that. Or I could turn off the strings and give myself some brass, for instance, some synth. That kind of stuff. Anyway, so that kind of stuff. So, I could have those sounds kind of like at my fingertips to arm them, cut them on and off. If I just wanted to go with a regular piano, what have you, and I can turn these off. And I got my just regular MKS, piano one sound. So that is the setup. And of course, I've done like a pseudo setup, to kind of, because this is how the original MK S module kind of looked, and this is almost how the plugin looks. So I tried to emulate the look of the plugin and the feel of the plugin through my setup and my layout mode inside Mainstage. So let's jump into it and let's show you how we did it. But before we show you, let me show you what the plugin, the actual MKSensation plugin looks like. And this is it right here. Um, this is what it looks like. As you can see, it has the piano 1, the piano 2, da 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 da. And like I was showing you in that mode, as I press buttons on, I'm pressing buttons on my controller. As you see, I'm not clicking with the mouse. I'm changing the sounds and creating layers just using the pads on my machine controller. All right. So let's jump into how we do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this um, particular template, and I'm going to open up. Let this save. It's saving. All right, we want it to save, and I'm going to open up a blank, just a blank template, blank space, nothing here. But to save a little time, what I did was I went ahead and saved my layout. So I could save a bit of time because it took quite a bit of time to kind of set that up the way I wanted it, and longer than I want to do on a video. I mean, I could do it in probably about 5 or 6 minutes, but you don't want to, watch me set this thing up in 5 minutes. So I just figured I'd just save the layout and just import it in as I designed it. This is in layout mode. This is where you're going to do most of your designing for your templates to kind of set up Mainstage to look and feel and operate the way you want it to operate in performance mode. There are 3 modes inside of Mainstage. There's the layout mode, the edit mode, come out of this, and this is the edit mode, and then this is the performance mode. This is typically what you're going to be looking at while you're performing inside of Mainstage. Whenever you're performing live, this is what you're going to be looking at on your computer screen to kind of give you a full screen, get everything else out the way, approach to your playing. Okay. So let's jump back to layout mode. And what we want to do is assign these buttons. And I'm going to do these kind of really quickly. I'm going to jump and assign these buttons. What I would do is click on the button that I want to assign to an associated pad on my controller. And I click on that button and I hit assign. Then I go to my controller and hit the pad that I want to arm that button, which would be this button right here, this first one. And while I have a sign still blinking, I can click on the next pad, the next button, and hit the next pad. Next button, hit pad. Next button, hit pad. And I'm just assigning them to the different rows of pads I have on my machine controller. Let's go to the next one, and 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 the next one. Oh, did I get that one? There we go. And let's do these last 3 down here for my tremolo and my reverb and my chorus and all that good stuff. All right, so I've got my buttons assigned. These are already assigned to the patches. This is a value button. I set that up in the other template to scroll through other Mainstage sounds that I had in my set. And I just assigned that one to a rotary knob that I have on my machine controller just by touching that. And then I'm going to assign this one to the main volume knob. So now I've got my controller mapped. I don't have to do anything else inside of this mode. Now I can jump to the edit part, and this is where the fun begins, because like I said, like it states in like it states in the title of this video, we're learning how to map a Kontakt instrument to your controller, and that this method is going to work for any Kontakt instrument that you want to map to controller, because some of you may not have the MKS controller or what have you. You may have Alicia Keys piano, or you may have some other plugin made by Native Instruments or any other library made by somebody else, and you want to map it and use it inside Mainstage to change parameters. This is how we're going to do it. So what I'm going to do now here, let's do a couple of maintenance things. Let's make sure we get this one assigned while we're on the concert level. Let's assign a few things. We're going to assign this to the the master volume here. Yeah, now that's assigned to that. And that's pretty much all we need to do. Let's see, this will be, so this button right here is going to be assigned to let's map this button right here. We're going to assign this to switch patches if you want to do that. This is just something that I'm going to do real quick. Let's go to actions, and we're going to assign this to jump to patch. And that will become more relevant later on. And what we're going to do here now is create a patch. Okay, so let's go to an untitled patch here, and let's create a instrument channel right here. And we're going to pull up Kontakt 5. Let's roll over here, native instruments, Kontakt 5. All right, and we're going to wait on that to pull up. When we do that, let me turn my notifications off. And now we've got Kontakt 5 open. In this particular case, we're going to be using the gospel musicians MKSensation. So I'm going to roll this over here. I'm going to use just this preset that says gospel shout. No particular reason why. I'm just going to use just pick this plugin because it has all of the settings that I need with the brass, the synth, and all of that. So what I'm going to do is, for right now, we're going to cut off everything. Everything's off, chorus, everything. This is where it becomes important to be able to map everything that goes to your controller. What you're going to do is click on a section here that says auto, all right, for automation, basically. And here you have a list of assigned parameters that you can assign to any button inside of Kontakt. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click here, and I'm going to drag this 000 over here to piano 1. And I'm going to drag this one to piano 2 and EP, and you kind of get the picture of what I'm doing. I'm just dragging it right on top of that button. 4 is going to go here. 5 is going to go here, followed by 6 on 7, 7 on 8. All right, the brass, the synth, the strings, the pad, and then, like I said, I also want a button to control my tremolo, my chorus, and my reverb. Now, the way it's always going to carry the name of that preset or what have you that you're dropping on there. So you kind of got to remember what you did in terms of assigning things, because it won't let you rename them. I don't know why. I tried to figure it out. I just couldn't figure it out. Maybe somebody knows something that I don't know, but I tried to figure it out. Couldn't figure it out earlier. But for the most part, I just have to remember where I assign what to. All right. Now that I've got that assigned, I don't need this anymore for the time being. So we're going to close it. And what I'm going to do now is start clicking on buttons and assigning them. So as I click here, I go to instrument 1 and Kontakt 5. And then as you can see, there are all my assigned presets. So we know that the 000 was the piano 1. So we want this to do piano 1. And we want this one to go on, piano 2. And I'm just gonna keep going here and mapping these. Just give me a second as I map all of these. Let's see, 3. And I'm gonna pause while I run through these and come back once I've mapped them on, because you kind of get the picture of what you need to do. All right, guys. So now I'm back. That didn't take long. Well, not for you guys, but it took a minute for me. All right. So I have assigned all of my buttons to each one of those parameters inside of Kontakt by the numbers. And so now, as you can see, the only problem now we have is that all of them say gospel shout, gospel shout, gospel shout, gospel shout. So what I'm going to do now is open up my Kontakt plugin, so I can have something as a visual reference. And we're going to just make it as small as possible. We're going to throw it up out the way. And we're going to click on this first button and click on the attributes tab. And looking at this as a reference, we're going to name our buttons after, what we see on the plugin. So this one is piano 1. And then this one is piano 2. And so on and so forth. This one is EP1. This one is EP2. And then this one is Power Grand. And this one is one that says acoustic piano or APC piano, ACP, or however you say it, whatever. And this is the Dyno. And then this one is the TX618. All right. Followed by brass. And feel free to fast forward through this if you don't want to just see me typing in, the letters. Brass, synth, the strings, and my pad. And then we got 3 more over here. This one is the one I set aside for the tremolo, tomato, potato, however you say it. Then this one is the chorus. And finally, this one is the reverb. And boys and girls, that is how you do it. That is all of the steps to mapping your controller. Now I'm going to name this instrument 1 just for reference, the MKSensation. And boom, now I have that in my little display window. All right, and that is pretty much it. So now let's test it out. Let's bring back up Kontakt so we can watch and see how everything is moving the way it needs to. So if I hit the first pad that I assigned to piano 1, boom, piano 2, EP, you got your EP there, you got your Power Grand, yep. You got your brass and your synth, your strings, your pad, and so on, your, the tremolo and the chorus and the reverb, all mapped to my controller. That is how you do it. And then all you do now is just put it in perform mode and enjoy. Okay? So that is how you map something inside of Mainstage to Kontakt. So just you know how it goes. You know what we do, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, do all those things. And if you have questions, just give me a holler, and I'd love to answer those things for you. Until next time, holla at your boy.